Okay, y'all, this is part B. I'm almost done. I'm going to try to keep it to under 10 minutes. I realized I forgot to show you some of the pictures that I brought into class, and I wanted to do it as we're learning the justices. So this is Antonin Scalia, and it's Antonin or Antony. I think either way is probably fine. I'm sure he has a preference, but you know. Antonin Scalia, and then we have, and he's conservative, we have Clarence Thomas. And he is really, really close friends with Rush Limbaugh. He married him. Now, Rush has been married a few times, so I know he married him the last time before this wedding. But anyway, he's real good friends with Rush, and because I like to think of myself as really good friends with Rush, even though he doesn't know me, then I think of me and Clarence Thomas as besties too. So I like him. Because Rush likes him, so I like him, and I really like Rush. All right, and then the last one that we've already learned about is Justice John Roberts. So you should know him by now. He's a very young man, really, to be the Chief Justice. So he's going to be on the court for a long time. They have a lifetime appointment for a reason. They shouldn't have to run for re-election because the theory is if they have to run for election, that then they'll be making political decisions again. And that they're supposed to just judge on the constitutionality and let the chips fall where they may. All right, this is the exterior of the Supreme Court. I know you guys probably already know that, but I just wanted to show it to you. And then this is the interior of the Supreme Court. And remember what I said, back here are the big doors that shut. The big, huge doors have the 10 Commandments engraved on them. So these justices right here are looking at the doors. And this is a lot bigger than it looks. I know that doesn't look. I was going to show you these one more time. Who is this? Good. Chief Justice John Roberts. And who is this? Good. Clarence Thomas and Antonin Scalia. Good job, y'all. All right. Really, we're just talking about the Bill of Rights this week. You guys had to read over them and answer questions about them. The Bill of Rights is so important. If somebody shows up at your house and says, I need to come in and search your house, if you know the Bill of Rights and if you know your rights in the Constitution, you say, can I see your search warrant, please? Now, that doesn't mean that you can't let them in. If you know you've done nothing wrong and you want to let them in, then that's fine. There were some detectives that showed up at my house a few months ago, and they said, your car has been involved, and it turned out just my license plate because we had bought over Craigslist, have been involved in some snatch and grabs, and I think they were snatching like Gucci purses at Dillard's. And running, and it was my license plate and maybe my car that I sold, or maybe they moved license plates, but we had sold 2 cars over Craigslist, and they said that's what happens a lot after my husband's mom died. And so, of course, when the detectives came to the door, and it was the second time they had been here, I said, come on in. You know, I gave them sweet tea, and what do you want to know? I tried to help them in any way I could. So I knew I was innocent. But it is your right to ask for a search warrant. And if they don't produce one, then they have to go, and they have to go to a judge and present them with evidence and get the search warrant. A lot of times they won't have enough evidence. People, you know, they come in and then they can find some evidence. All right, if they, let's say police for some reason would come to your home, let's say it's a rookie policeman who just doesn't know any different, and he would come to your home and they end up searching your home and they don't have a search warrant, and then they find something that can be used against you for a crime. Well, when you get to court, the judge can throw that out and say, I'm sorry, that was an illegal search. Just like in the Bill of Rights where we told King George, you know, you're doing all these things. I'm sorry, in our Declaration of Independence, you're doing all these things. So it's in the Bill of Rights that you have to have a search warrant. You can't just search because you want to, like they used to do. So that can be thrown out. So the Bill of Rights is so important. The ability to own handguns, to defend ourselves, freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom of religion. It does not say separation of church and state. That is something that liberals have drilled in our mind over the years. Separation of church and state, separation of church and state. It does not say that. It says that the federal government may not infringe on church or Christianity or religion in any way. That was talking about the letter that Jefferson wrote to that church was specifically saying, we won't bother you. We won't establish a religion. And he used the word separation of church and state because he was talking about we won't make you do something, establish a religion. Matter of fact, when the Capitol building was opened, I believe it was in 1801, the Capitol building, the very first week it opened, it was meant to be a church, and the Congress and the Senate, so the House and the Senate, both have chaplains to this day. They have a chaplain. Well, when the Capitol building opened, one week the House chaplain speaks and held service, and another week the other House spoke and held service. And, you know, it was made for that. They did that on purpose. So, matter of fact, even one time one of the presidents, I can't remember which president it was, asked for the one of the military bands to do the worship because they thought it needed a little pepping up. So he asked for the military bands way in the beginning. I think it was Thomas Jefferson. So we in no way, when we established this country, said we don't want religion involved. On the contrary, so many of our quotes, founding fathers, even Thomas Jefferson, known as the least religious, boy, when you read his writings, do they sound religious. You know, you have to have a moral code and a moral compass to have a free people, really, and to have a democracy and a republic. So as you're reading the Bill of Rights, just remember just how important they are, okay? So in all of our freedoms in there, freedom to have a trial by jury, freedom, you know, to stand against the accused, who's leveled charges against you. So there's so many freedoms in there that are so important. So just remember that as you read, and just go over this week's homework. And remember, I emailed you guys what you're supposed to do for the week, but just make sure you bring it to class, okay? All right, I'm going to show you these guys one more time, see if you can guess who this is. Antonin Scalia, Clarence Thomas, my bestie, Chief Justice John Roberts. All right, and that means he holds the gavel on the Supreme Court, and he's the Chief Justice. He kind of, you know, determines how things flow. All right, I hope you guys have a great week. If you guys have any questions, email me, text me. I'm here to help you in any way, even if you just need to drill stuff or before school or whatever. Just let me know. I'm here to help you in any way I can. Have a great week.